Hey guys, what's going on? This is Matt with UMB. So, had a lot of conversations with the guys, reading through a lot of the comments, and what we wanted to try and start doing for you guys was put together some alert breakdown videos, as we're going to call them. These videos will primarily focus on the alerts that came through on a particular day, or at least a handful of them. If I tried to do every alert every day, the videos would be 3 hours long. So what we're going to do is just go through a few of the alerts here and pull them up on the chart and show you how I would personally try to trade these alerts, or whether I did or not, or what happened. Just kind of going to go through them. I'm going to pick random alerts. You can see over here on the left side of my screen, this is what the alert channel looks like in our Telegram group. So those of you that are subscribed to the Telegram, you're familiar with how this looks already. We get the warming up alerts, we get the EMA stacks, we get the VWAP reclaim, we also get the news alerts. There's a lot going on in here. So, alerts are one thing, guys, right? We always tell everybody, like, you could pay for alerts from, wherever you want to get them from, right? If you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to read a chart and you don't know some of the most basic information that you need to, the alerts themselves are not going to make you money, right? So that's the point of trying to make some of these videos. Keep in mind, they are going to be a little bit simple. As you can see here on my main screen here, I don't really have a whole lot going on, and actually, to be honest, I mean, most of my trading is done this way. I mean, I like to use the volume profile as well, but as you can see, that can make the chart look a little bit crazy. So for purposes of this video, we're not going to be displaying the volume profile. All I really have on this video is my top EMA, my 5 EMA line, which is green, my 8 EMA line, which is yellow, my red EMA, my 8 EMA, which is yellow, my red EMA, which is the 13, and my blue line here, which is, of course, the VWAP, right? Those are your three main lines that should be going across your chart. We always have the volume at the bottom here. That's these green and red vertical bars. That's the volume that was traded in any particular bar on the chart, or candle rather, on the chart. And down low here we got the MACD. There's also another indicator, the RSI. I do not have that up here yet, but we don't need it for purposes of this video. MACD settings 393. As you can see, between my EMAs 5813 and the MACD 393, they are faster moving indicators, right? For the type of trading that we do, that these alerts generally require, the momentum trading that we preach and that we teach here, the faster moving indicators are going to be a better indicator for these quick plays many times. So right away, we'll just kind of hop right into it here. Let me pull back up the alerts here. So, all right, so we're going to go back to Thursday, October 9th. Friday was a bit of a mess, as you guys are aware. We did have a couple nice alerts come out, but the whole market went red. We had some announcement from Trump and China and a bunch of nonsense, and everything kind of dumped, including the SPY and QQQ. So anyway, we're going to use Thursday here as an example. Thursday, October 9th, this past week, the first alert came through at 4:45 a.m. It was YYAI. I'm not going to get into that. I will not chart that right now. YYAI does have potential. It has had plenty of potential in the past. None of us analysts are ever too very excited to see YYAI pop up. It's very volatile, it's just one of those tickers. So anyway, we'll go to the second one here. TCRT warming up alert at $5.60. It was alerted at 4:56 a.m. on Thursday morning. So already pulled up on the chart here. I have TCRT, right? So right away we're going to, let's put a little box around just for purposes of this video. Let's find, what time was that? 4:56. So let me go to 4:56, 53, 54, 55, 56. So this candle here, if you can see, this little guy here, That was the 456 candle right here. So this is about where the alert went out. Again at 4:56 in the morning, and at the time of the alert, the price was sorry, looking at screens, 560. So that was all the way down here in the wick of this candle, right? So what do, right? We pull up the chart. Let me get rid of this line quick. Get rid of this line here quick. So we pull up the chart. TRCT is a great ticker. We've traded it before. It can move pretty well, especially with some news. I don't think this had news. So immediately we pull up the chart. I see where we're at. I see that, you know, down here in the flat, right, earlier that morning, it was just kind of baselined, and then bam, we gapped up immediately. We had a nice spike up and that came out of about 360 zone, spiked all the way up to about 580, right? So more than a $2 move down that initial spike. Right away, these are the things that I'm looking at, right? We had a nice pullback dip here to support, and then boom, we had a nice climb up from 457 all the way up to 680, right? So by this time, this thing's hitting our scanners. We're looking at it, and we're like, all right, we got a potential mover here. So we wait a little bit, right? We're watching it for a second, and before the alert goes out, we want to see another pullback. So we do try and get these alerts out to you and actually physically time them so that we are in a pullback if possible. It is not always possible. I'd say maybe 40% of the time it's possible for us to do that. On this particular one, we did kind of, we got into this second spike here, and we did see this pullback, and we got down here, and we used kind of this lower level here as the potential dip support, right, before we had a continuation back to the upside. So, and I'll show you why, right? If we go ahead and take a horizontal line out and we place it right about here, you can see this area right here, right? I just deleted my line. Give me a second. I'll put that back there, and we will go back for a rectangle. You can see this area right here on this line, right? You had these previous candles on that first high. That's where they closed and rejected. That line is about 547. So when we dipped, we came back up, we broke that high. Okay, now we got a little breakout play, then we pulled back down. We were fully expecting to find support on this line because it had acted as resistance here on that first spike. So this is a beautiful chart to kind of break down for you here. So it did exactly what we want to see. So it spiked back up, it broke that line, it pulled back down right about here. We sent you the alert. It actually wicked right down to that exact spot. It used it as support, and look what happened. Bam, it rode right up. So if you had taken that 560 alert right here, which would have been a good spot. Let me just get a price range on it here, right about here, 560, and just rode that first pop for 2 minutes, right? You could have taken that entry, I mean, pretty much blindly, which we never recommend, and that's why we're trying to do these chart breakdowns, but you could have taken that entry at 560, and within 4 minutes ran 22% up to 684, right? So, now look what happened at the 684 level. Let me move this box out of the way. Let me grab another line here, and look what happened at that first level, right? So we'll mark the top of that wick right here, right? So you got in at 560 and you rode that up to 586. Well, it essentially it rejected that previous high. So always remember, guys, if you get into a dip trade like this and we're coming back up and you have a very in close proximity to you is a previous high like this one is, not 5 minutes prior, always expect it to reject that high. So that would be your exit point right here. So as you're climbing back up, you know exactly, okay, I'm watching this high right here. I know it's about 681. If you have the chart up, you should already have a line there, and you should be watching it come up to that line. And I would say before you even get there, you should bail a little bit early, at least on 3/4 of your position, maybe leave 25% for some runners. I mean, you do you. What I do is, as it comes up to this line that I know is potential resistance, because it already resisted off of it, I always scale out really hard, if not close my entire position before I get there, because I can always take a new position, right? So you could have rode that first move 22%. Let's say you didn't get out at all, right? So, and you just rode it out all day, you know, almost like a little swing trade or something, right? So it dipped back down, right? It ended up finding support down here on VWAP is really what happened. It kind of broke through our EMAs. It wicked through VWAP a little bit right here, but it never actually got below your entry. So you were still green even right here. Like if you took that 560 alert, right? So you were still green. It danced around on VWAP for a second, quickly jumped back up, and then look what happened. Bam, up to the upside. It broke through that resistance, got another little spike, little pullback, and then another little spike for the high of the day. So this guy actually ran a total, if you took that whole move, I think I actually traded this in 2 separate pieces, like I said, but if you took that whole move, which I think is about there, right? And we'll come up to here to a high of about 811. It's a 44% move, and we're talking in about 20 minutes, right? So TCRT early in the morning, this was 4:56 in the morning, was actually a really good play, and the chart was beautiful. So I hope that helped you guys. I hope that helped you guys kind of understand how to play this a little bit. I mean, all we're really doing is pulling up a chart, immediately looking at, okay, what's going on here? Where is the support and resistance? There's a lot more to charting than just support and resistance. There's a lot more to it than EMAs and VWAP, right? You can learn all this stuff through our premium Discord that we are getting ready to launch, and it's just jam-packed with strategies and information. But for now, the most basic tools that you absolutely have to understand are support, resistance, trend lines, the MACD, right? Your volume. So there's no need to go scrolling back, 3, 4, 5 days or whatever to try and find daily gaps or previous highs or whatever. You can do that if you have time and you feel like you can actually chart that quick enough. But again, our indicators are set up for quick scalps, in and out, like sometimes within 1 minute, sometimes within 30 seconds. Sometimes within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, right? So you have to be in front of the charts. So I just wanted to make sure I reiterated that there for you. So let's go to one I haven't even looked at. I mean, I'm sure I traded or at least looked at all these as the alerts came through on Thursday, but we'll just scroll down the list here on the alerts. After TCRT, we had ATHE. It was a news alert. Definitely pay attention to the news alerts. Sometimes they pan out to be not much. Other times we get some big moves on them. So this was at 742. Let's pull up. Let's pull up ATHE. Let's see. Larity Therapeutics. All right. I've got to kind of get control of our chart here a little bit. Let's go all the way forward. Just give me a second to get my chart under control. Let's go back to, I'm way back now. Where are we? October 9th? Okay. We are in here somewhere. And this chart already does not look good. I don't remember this one from Thursday, but I'm sure I looked at it and I'm almost positive I probably didn't take a position. So October 9th. All right, so we're somewhere in here. What time did that come through? 7:42. So that was right about. Sorry, guys, bear with me. That would have been right in here somewhere. And as you can see, I mean, look at this chart. There's nothing here. It's completely dead. So that alert would have came through right in here somewhere. And immediately we would have opened this chart and said, there's nothing going on. I mean, look at, we hardly have any candle bodies for that matter. There was absolutely zero volume. So when you see us post our recap posts that say, no setup, no play, or, no volume, whatever, this is what we're talking about. There was no volume in this thing whatsoever. So even though we had good news on ATHE, which has been a runner in the past, it did pretty much nothing. I mean, if you had bought that at the 507 level, give me 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. Now I feel like an idiot. I was on October 10th, of course. So let's go back to the right spot. Okay, let's fix this. So Thursday, October 9th at 7:42. Okay, so this chart has a little bit more volume in it. So right here, right, this was our alert level, alert zone right there. Right out of the gate, you can see, okay, we had a little bit more volume, right? We had a little bit of action. From all the way back here, we had a little climb up, a dip down, then we had some decent kind of volume come in with a big spike up here to 685 and a dip and another dip. And so we were kind of letting that get out of the way. This alert came through right here because we were at the bottom of this dip. You can see exactly why we waited to kind of alert that, because we came, you know, we had swooped down, we found support, we came back up, we rejected VWAP, right? And then came back down and then found support again. So right here, we were kind of expecting a bounce to come back up. Well, guess what? There was no play at all. It fell out. It ranged all the way down here under VWAP. We had a couple nice spikes up, but you can't play these at all. So long story short, ATHE was a dud. There was no play there. Let's move on to the next one, MRM. We saw at 8:21, we got an MRM. Let's see. MRM. All right. See what this looks like. All right. So make sure I'm on the right day. October 9th at 8:21. So we got some volume in here. We had some action. So we had a nice spike up at 8. We had a pullback, right, to some support. Then we had another nice spike up. And we had a pullback. And we got a little deeper into our support than we probably wanted to see here. That was 8:13. And then 8:21 is over here. And we sent the alert in anticipation of this break here. So this is a good chart to break down. Let's look at this, right? So immediately, let's show where the alert came through, which was it was actually on this high candle because we had just broke, right? And there's a reason why we sent it there. The price came through at 280 at 8:21. So 280 it was right about this level. So we actually alerted before the break. So what you're going to do when you pull this up, right? You would have saw this. You would have opened the chart immediately, and you know what you should be looking at is where's my previous high, right? It's the first thing that should go through your head before you look at anything else. Okay, well there it is right there. And again, we don't really include wicks on previous highs. You can when you're dealing with things like scaling out and all that nonsense. But when we're looking for a break, we're looking at the candle body itself, right? So you can see here our candle body high was 285. That alert came through at 280, just below it. We did break that body. So this is what you want to do. You want to say, okay, right away, you can see this is my high. All right, we need a 285 break. Okay, this 1 minute candle pops up and it breaks and it closes. Okay, we have, and actually I think I ended up taking a small loss on this one because I took this position. This chart was beautiful. I mean, we had a nice pop, a pullback, a pop, a pullback, and then we broke that high again. Here we go for another leg up, right? So I think I took a small loss on this, and I'll show you exactly what happened. So we come up with this candle, it broke. We get a couple more candles in a row. Now these little candles here, we call these doji candles. That should have been an indication to me to not get into a trade. So if you ever see those, it's typically an indication or can be of a reversal. I actually took this trade and took a small red loss on it because of the momentum and the volume that it had. I believe my MACD was still open at that point. We can show you that. So it had started to pinch closed here. So I am happy to do a lesson on the MACD as well, but it had started to pinch closed, but it was still wide open right at this position. So because of the MACD, the volume, I took my position, and I think it was a starter position, wasn't very heavy, and then it immediately fell back down. But guess what, guys? I got out somewhere right in about this level here, right, 263. Did not take much of a loss on that at all because I knew that we had to hold this support line. If we broke back under this 285 line, it was going to be difficult for us to get back up there. So this is actually a great chart to analyze. It didn't end up being a winner on the day for me, at least immediately here, and this is just what happens. That's trading for you, right? So we move on, we look at the, we scroll in, look at the rest of the day. It just kind of fell down and danced around. There, I mean, a little choppy opportunity in here, but nothing to go over. So That was MRM. So let's kind of scroll through here for some other ones. Let's look at GLTO. This one could have been a monster, and I think it was that day. So GLTO came through at 9:16 in the morning. Let's look at GLTO. Man, look at this chart. This was one of the monsters. So 2 days in a row, we had some really good plays. This on Thursday, the 9th, was an awesome play. So 1283 was the price at 9:16 a.m. So let's find 9:16. So that was this candle here. So after we had that initial spike, we sent the alert that it was warming up. And the warming up alert strictly just means, hey, get on this chart, check it out, we got something moving, find your position, right? So 1283 was right here, almost at the high of this candle before it. This is where the alert went out. This thing had a good run up for sure. So the way that I would have traded this, no question, is I would have waited for the next candle to open and give me a good break here. So this will be a good one to kind of chat through. So right away, I would have taken a horizontal line, placed it there, and then been watching for a deeper dip. I would have wanted to see a dip somewhere down here into like the low 12 zone, right? Because what we created there was a fair value gap, right? So I'm not going to go deep into fair value gaps. We call them FVGs. And they're super important. There's a lot of money, a lot of liquidity there left behind, and a lot of times what we see is a pullback retrace to this fair value gap area. If you're interested in learning more about that, I'm happy to do a video on it. Zach will definitely do a video on it. He is the fair value master over there. So we would have liked to see a kind of a deeper pullback into this area. I probably would have loaded a little bit harder or before our break if we got that fair value fill. Since we just kind of chopped sideways, it was either come down and you know, take a starter position somewhere in this zone, right? Because we're in the middle of our fair value gap here, or wait for it to break this high that it had just made. So for me, I waited for it to break the high. So once we got up over, once this next candle formed and we slammed through that high, it actually jumped up quite a bit and then retraced. And I took a position somewhere in here about 1430 or so. So took a position there, and this thing was a good play, man. We immediately, you know, kind of came back up. We had a nice, healthy pullback, but I was still green, so nothing I was bailing on. We came back up. We pulled back even lower. At that point, I was still green, but I remember thinking, I'm just going to give this a second and see how it plays out, because I know that we still have this initial support line here. So immediately we slammed back up, but we made a newer high here, right? You can see this wick all the way up here. It's higher than where we were rejecting. So and then immediately we slammed down, and I got just about red on my position here at 1439. Still held in there, right? Came back up, another little dip, and boom, up here with a lot of volume. We halted right in here at 1662. Out of the halt, we slammed up, and I think I sold as fast as I could. I believe I might have got out somewhere in 1770 range, but that thing went all the way up to 1830. So it was a pretty quick move, and definitely returned some nice profits. And the best part about that is, you know, the trade never went red, right? So you're never dealing with that psychological issue of like, do I hold? Do we got support below us? It never went red from my entry, so I was kind of holding regardless, right? If it had come down and actually tested support, I would have been just slightly red. So if it had actually broke this initial support line that I drew, I would have been out, no question, for a small loss, right? But this was a really good play. If we measure that out real quick, well, from about where I got in, which I think again was about 1430 or so, somewhere in here. I mean, that was and I got out at like 1780, like somewhere down in here. Like that was a 25% move, right? Now, if you had not waited for this break to get in, and you had taken that alert down here at 1283 all the way down here, which you could have done. and you rode that thing even farther to the top, I mean, we're talking a 42% move, all within the span of 25 minutes or so. So it's so important to be on the charts. You got to be able to see these things. If you are sitting on your phone, like I was at the very beginning of my trading journey, and like many people are, you can trade, and the apps are becoming better where you can actually break down the charts a little bit and draw your lines. It's just so difficult, and you just really don't have a super clear picture of what's going on. So I highly encourage you to even go out and get the most basic computer. I mean, guys, you can order a very basic laptop that has plenty of power to run your trading broker, Robinhood, Webull, whatever it might be, for like under $200. They are not expensive, and look at the advantage that it will give you. So that was GLTO. So let's see. We'll break down one more and see what we can do. So let's look at SCWO. That was at 9:25 a.m. So SCWO. Let's look here. Pull that up. Let's find. Make sure we're on the right day. October 9th at 9:25 a.m. So here we are here. So not a horrible looking chart. Kind of wicky. Kind of choppy. Not really loving it, but I do remember trading this, and I do remember having a green trade on it. October 9th, 9:24, right in this area here. And it was alerted at 88 cents. So, yep, somewhere basically right on where you see my blue VWAP was the alert. And it actually came through as a VWAP reclaim, so sure enough it was. So the way you're going to deal with VWAP reclaims, guys, first off, you're going to pull them up. Sometimes our alerts get confused and mixed up. It'll come through as a reclaim, and it's really a bounce, and we're adjusting some things and whatever. You want to pull up your chart, make sure that it is actually a reclaim play where we were below VWAP and then we reclaimed VWAP. You can see we were way back here. We were above, we dipped below. We had a little poke above right here, dip below. We call that a VWAP rejection. It couldn't hold. So that's actually something good to point out, right? Like if you were looking at this chart back here and you were going to try and deal with a VWAP reclaim, again, the VWAP line is my blue line here. You were watching this and you're like, okay, we're above, right? We closed, but then the next candle, I mean, it's super ugly, right? It spiked down. The next one just fell off. It could not hold VWAP. There was no position to be had here. You actually need a candle to come up, close, and then open up as another green candle and start pushing back up before you would ever even think about an entry. Also the MACD is going to be important here. So it dips back down, it comes along. Anyway, this is where our alert was here at 9:25. And immediately you can see, okay, we are back up on VWAP. We already reclaimed it. I would have personally waited for this candle to close, which I think I did. And as soon as it did, and the next one opened green right here, about 89 cents is where I took a position. So that's how you play the VWAP reclaims. Take a position here, you ride that up, you get a nice spike. Pretty sure I closed this out right here, and I ran from 89 cents to just about the top of this wick, like 94, 93, 94. And then let this thing pull back a little bit and consolidate. It had pulled back because what it did was, I mean, essentially it created a little fair value gap in here. It had pulled back and retraced almost that whole little gap that it created. And then look at the size of this monster candle off of there. Boom. So I think I actually took a position in here on the bottom of this red candle, thinking that was the only pullback we were going to get around 91. I went red slightly. I wasn't going to let it come back under at most VWAP, right? But I went red slightly. The next one opened and it slammed all the way up to a dollar, a little over $1.01. So two great plays there, right? But that's how you're going to deal with the VWAP reclaim. So that was SCWO. And the rest of the day, I think it just fell off. I thought it came back later in the day, but we had a little, so it fell all the way down here, and then we had a little run up. I actually think I was able to, because we were still watching it, I think we were able to get a couple plays in here on it, but that was basically it. It just fizzled out the rest of the day. So again, guys, just wanted to try and go through a couple of the alerts that were sent out on Thursday, October 9th. The idea here was to give you a little insight into how us, the analysts behind UMB, are using these alerts, trading them, making money with them, sometimes losing money with them, and really kind of give you an inside look at, like, hey, how am I trading this thing, right? How are the analysts trading these alerts, and how are they making money with them? Because that's always been the biggest problem for a lot of people, especially new beginners and even intermediate traders, right, that have been trading for a little while. They understand a hefty amount of this stuff. So it's nice to be able to share this information, because I remember early on when I was first trading, and again, I said that it was on my phone, but I remember the first time I actually opened up a big chart on the computer screen, and I was just floored. I was absolutely flabbergasted at how crazy it looked, and everything that was going on. It was very, very confusing. At the same time, it was mesmerizing, and it was just so intriguing. And I just forced myself through hundreds of hours of learning and studying to figure it all out. So there is a lot more that goes into day trading than what I just went over. That is for sure. And we at UMB, between Zach and me and Kyle and OG and Brian, we are committed to providing those resources to you and providing content and videos like these, so that the average trader, the beginner trader, the very, very beginner trader can watch these videos, can watch us produce this content, and can actually figure out how to start doing it for themselves, but do it the right way. Something I wish I had at my fingertips when I first started trading. Plenty of videos out there, Ross Cameron and whoever else that you might find on YouTube, and but not a lot of content that's personalized, or that is like a super real person behind the scenes that you can actually reach out to and talk to. You guys have questions. You guys have are having trouble trading these alerts. You're having trouble, with anything that there is any content that we're putting out there, or just anything in your trading journey. We are happy to talk to you. I've had one-on-one phone calls with many of our Facebook members that are new members. I know Zach has as well. I actually think we all have. And we are 100% dedicated to not just bringing you the alert on what's moving, but we want to make sure that you know how to use these alerts so that you can actually make some money. So with that said, guys, I will try to do as many of these videos on each day as I can. Again, it's only going to be a few tickers. Zach, I think, is going to do some of the alert breakdown videos as well, so keep an eye out for that. And if anybody wants a particular alert or stock broken down for them, if there was an alert on Thursday or yesterday or whatever day that you traded, or you tried to and you lost, or you won a little but you still had questions about, or you want to see me break down that chart or how I would have traded it, I am happy to do that. I will pull up that chart. We will draw the lines. I will go through it step by step, and I will send it to you or post it in the group. So comment below the video. Let us know if that's something you want to see. And if you have any other questions, again, just feel free to ask them. We are here to help. So all right, guys, I will talk with you all soon.